thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today, we are reviewing Mortal Kombat 2, one of my most anticipated movies of 2026, and what was also one of my most anticipated movies of 2025 before it got delayed. I just got back from seeing this movie. It is past 10. I am tired, but I don't care because this movie was so hype it made me want to run through a wall. First things first, let's just get it out of the way. Yes, I am dressed as Johnny Cage. Yes, I did cosplay Johnny Cage to the theater, because Johnny Cage is my favorite video game character of all time, and Mortal Kombat is one of my favorite games of all time. I am a giant Mortal Kombat fan, so yes, this review will be biased. I will completely admit that fully out the gate. This will be a biased review because I am just such a huge fan of this franchise and Johnny Cage, who they made the main character of this movie. So I'm kind of guaranteed off the bat to enjoy this more than the average viewer would. But with that being said, oh my god, I love this movie. Mortal Kombat 2 is obviously a sequel to 2021's Mortal Kombat, which has a very mixed perception. A lot of people don't like what they did with adding Cole Young, the new character, and making him the main focus of the film instead of one of the established champions from the game. A lot of people also didn't like that the first movie didn't even actually get to the Mortal Kombat tournament. It was just kind of like a prequel to the Mortal Kombat tournament. This film fixes both of those issues that people had by making Johnny Cage our protagonist. A bit of Johnny Cage and Katana. Katana was a giant player in this movie too. But anyway, point is, they made established, beloved characters from the game the main protagonist of this film, and the entirety of this film is showing the actual Mortal Kombat tournament. Full Mortal Kombat from the get-go, which actually leads me to the first thing that I want to say about this film. I honestly think this should not have been called Mortal Kombat 2. It should have been called Mortal Kombat Part 2, because you would be so lost if you went into this without seeing the first movie. This movie assumes that every single person has seen the first movie. There is bare minimum explanation of what the heck they're talking about, who the heck these people are, if you have not watched the first film. This should have been called Mortal Kombat Part 2 because it really is that important to have seen what comes before this to actually understand this story. This wasn't like a full sequel with its own original thing. This was just Part 2 of what they were already fully setting up in Part 1. Think of it like the Dune movies. Dune isn't called Dune 1 and Dune 2. It's called Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2 because it's two halves of the same story. First half is all setting up when the crap is about to go down, and then the second half is the crap going down. That's why it's called Part 1 and Part 2, which is exactly what they did with this. This was not really its own new thing. It was literally just showing everything going down that they said was going to go down in the first one. The first one was all talk, this one is all show. So if you are planning on seeing this, please, I strongly urge you, do not watch this without first checking out the 2021 film. But that's enough about the 2021 Mortal Kombat. Let's really get into Mortal Kombat 2 now. This movie was so made for the fans. Is it a perfect movie? No. No, not by any means is this a perfect movie. I totally understand why a handful of critics are not liking it. I completely get where all the criticism is coming from. Because if you are not a Mortal Kombat fan, I don't know how much there is for you to get out of this. And what I mean by that is there is much more fighting than there is dialogue and story in this film. Which is not a bad thing, especially when the story of the film is we're in Mortal Kombat, which is just a giant fighting tournament. So, if anything, the story of this film really does mandate that there be fighting like every scene. Now, as it goes on though, I do think it gets more interesting because the first act is really just fight scene, talk for 2 seconds, fight scene, talk for 2 seconds, fight scene, talk for 2 seconds, rinse and repeat for the entire first act. Then as you get into the middle, and especially the third act of this film, they do introduce new elements and new strategies and new things that our characters are doing that I thought made it more fun and more interesting to watch than just a fight scene every 2 seconds. I loved the fight scenes, but, you know, 2 hours of that can get a little stale. But I thought they knew exactly what they were doing when it came to spacing out the fights, when it came to giving the characters cool moments. I thought this whole thing was expertly paced. If anything, my only complaint is that it was paced a little too fast. This movie's almost 2 hours long. It felt like 30 minutes. It flew by. I was having a blast with every single scene, and obviously, every time that Johnny Cage was on screen, oh my god, a blast doesn't even begin to describe how much fun I was having. I'm being fully genuine when I tell you, I don't know the last time that a movie put such a big smile on my face by just one scene. The first scene in this movie where they introduced Johnny Cage, I was smiling ear to ear the entire time. And every single scene with him from there on, full smiles the entire time. And when he is one of the main protagonists of the entire film, that means I loved a lot of the entire film. I think this movie is really at its strongest when it's delivering these character moments that fans of the games will love. And even if you're not a giant fan of the game, they're just such fun dynamics. And everything that they brought back from the first movie, everything that they added into this movie from the games, I think everything just made this a much bigger and, in my opinion, better film than the first one. Hands down, the best parts of the entire movie for me is whenever they would start blasting Techno Syndrome. If you're a Mortal Kombat fan, you know what Techno Syndrome is. It's the main Mortal Kombat theme from the original 1995 movie, and they've remixed it for the new ones. Anytime that they started blasting an epic remix of Techno Syndrome, dude, oh my god, like, I could have started jumping up and down in my seat, like, on the spot. It was so peak whenever they would blast that crap. I've talked a lot about Johnny, but I loved all the characters in this film. Kitana was great. Liu Kang was great. We need more Liu Kang. Why is he not more of a main character in these films? He is so cool. They even say he's the best champion that Earthrealm has. Why is he not given more of a spotlight? I felt like he was given more of a spotlight here than he was in the first movie, but he needs an even bigger one. He's so cool. The fight scenes were obviously all sick, as I have previously mentioned, but the one thing that I want to really highlight in those fight scenes, the choreography is astounding in here. It is so well choreographed. It's also very well shot the entire time. There's a scene where Johnny Cage and Kitana are fighting, and it does like this oneer for a little bit, where it stays on Kitana as you're following her around when she's trying to find Johnny. And it was little things like that, or they would do shots where it would like pan back to be a two-shot where you'd have one fighter here, and it would look like the perspective that you would see it in from the game. Those shots were just so cool. There was another really sick, longer shot with Scorpion that they put in the trailer where it's following him, like, chain up to this rock and then slide and jump off and then go in to fight someone. It was so cool. Like, this movie felt more cinematic than the first one. It just had so much more, like, epicness to it. And I guess that's the biggest compliment I can give this film. This movie was epic. Is it going to be great, fine art, Oscar-worthy? No! But is it epic? Yes, and did it give me everything that I wanted out of this movie? Yes, it did. It gave me everything that I wanted out of a movie called Mortal Kombat 2 starring Karl Urban as Johnny Cage. Everything that I could have possibly wanted out of that, I got. So, while yes, it has its issues, as a giant fan of this franchise, as an even bigger fan of basically the main character of this film, as a giant fan of this entire world, I loved it. I loved it. And I need all of you watching this video to go and check this movie out, because I need this thing to make a crap ton of money so we can get that third movie immediately. The final scene of this movie is like the most hype thing ever. If you have seen Across the Spider-Verse, the way that ends with Gwen teaming up with all of the spider people, all the good spider people, and being on the roof and being like, we're gonna go get Miles back, and then bam, cut to be continued. That is essentially exactly how they ended this movie, but it's just a shot of all of our Mortal Kombat characters walking in slow motion, going off to their new adventure that they just said what they're gonna do. I won't say it here because it's the final scene of the movie, but it sounds awesome. That final scene was sick. They start blasting Techno Syndrome again. Everyone's walking in slow motion. Everyone looks so cool. I'm so ready for more of this world, for more of these characters. I want it all now. Give me 10 more of these. So yeah, pretty much all I have to say is just, if you're a giant Mortal Kombat fan, you need to go see this movie. And even if you just want a really fun action movie, make sure to go watch the 2021 film and then go see this movie. because it delivers all of the hype, cool, epic moments that you could ever want from an action movie in a theater. And if you're already a giant Mortal Kombat fan, it just delivers a million times more. This movie was awesome. I absolutely loved it. It's now my third favorite movie of 2026, personally. And if you want to see the rest of my 2026 ranking, make sure to go follow me over on Letterboxd, which I will have linked down below. Also, if you made it this far into the video and you're enjoying it, make sure to please leave a like down below so I know that you're enjoying this kind of content and I can make more of it. But that's all I got for today, so until next time, I guess I'll see you in the movies. Bye.